Dominated today. Just what was kind of your takeaways when you watched both sides?
Yeah, it was a good physical day. A bunch of competitive plays on each side. Offense started a little slow but finished strong late. Defense jumped out to a pretty good start. I think we were extremely physical at the point of attack, eliminated explosive plays, and that was really our process and getting better throughout camp. Just making sure we take a step forward day in and day out and eliminate big runs and big pass plays.
And I'm sure you're happy to hear that we're asking about defense playing well after some of the questions going in and some of the questions last year. Got after the quarterback a lot today. Didn't seem like Jacob had many options open down the field at times.
Yeah, guys, the one thing about it you'll always hear from me is it's honest reporting. You know, you're just reporting the numbers. It is what it is, trust me. I wanted to puke every single day that I watched those first few games last year. I don't even know when we turned it around a little bit, but it was tough to watch, and I tell the guys all the time, the best lessons are learned through pain, and it's good to see us turning around and getting back to form.
Any pleasant surprises today?
It's hard to say. As you see, I was kind of bouncing around on both sidelines. To really watch it in detail is tough. The one thing I really liked, and I've been talking about it to you guys throughout the offseason, is Jacardier's new body and how he looks different. The way he accelerated on that long run. I don't know if he would have done that last year. He looks great. He's running the ball with power, and then he's got that breakaway speed. Loved what he did. Love seeing Jacob have confidence in the pocket because, you know, sometimes you have some concerns after taking an injury like that. But he stood in there, made some good throws. And then, again, I was happy with the defense, the way we stepped up, created some turnovers.
I know you've got to split them up for a scrimmage like this, ones, twos, but it looked like Jamarie was open all day long playing against the twos defense. I mean, he's not necessarily a two. He's definitely been a one for you last year.
Sure, kind of going through camp and figuring out who plays the best with who. We're going to rotate through the starters, the second team, the third team, because that's a really deep position. What you see in regards to depth chart right now at that position doesn't necessarily hold true when we get to the game. But it was good to see Jamarie get open, make some moves after the catch.
What about the rest of that group? You're happy that the corners are locking them down a little bit, but not much separation for the receivers, especially throughout that early part of practice.
Yeah, I think it can be tough, again, just based on calls that we're trying to get in on film. You know, sometimes it's structured, not necessarily like an actual game. Obviously, it's a scrimmage, and we want to do that, but there's some planning in there going, okay, can we efficiently run the football when we need to? Not necessarily just pumping the ball deep, down after down, but again, we'll go back to the film and see kind of who was accelerating after the point of contact and who wasn't.
Coach, how much of these practices do you believe are getting you closer to each game, right? I know you're tired of playing each other, but you got to play each other until you can play Montana.
Yeah, we needed a tough, hard camp. We needed a bunch of reps. We needed to continue to grow as a football team. Yes, I love the guys that are returning. I think we've got a good foundation, but it takes work to be able to win in this conference, and obviously you've seen our schedule. It starts with game one.
Winter Johnson, you keep hyping him up all preseason. Looked the part a little bit today.
Man, he looks like a freak out there, doesn't he? I tell him all the time, I was like, man, if they throw the ball over the 12-foot wingspan, something's going wrong. And not only that, I saw it in the state championship when we went and watched him play in the state championship at Cardinal Ritter. He's really good laterally. He can get downhill and play the run, and he's learning every day. Now, you're going to see some young knucklehead mistakes sometimes, but he's really gotten his head in the playbook and is becoming a full player.
Just that linebacker core, just trying to get that to come together when you know that's been when you had injuries there. Just what do you think is how do you think that group's coming together right now and trying to figure that out?
Yeah, one guy I'm really proud of is Taj Chambers. He not only makes a million plays, but he also coaches the younger guys that aren't quite as experienced in the defense, and he's making the calls himself to get us in the right position. Because, again, it's a continual evaluation on some of our shortcomings from last year. Half the time, we're just not in position to make plays. We're getting the line more efficiently, we're communicating better, and it's showing up on film.
Talk about line play. You mentioned early on during camp and during practice that the offensive line is maybe the deepest it's been. The defensive line has been the deepest that it's been. The defensive line definitely kind of owned the day today. There were a lot of penetration, a lot of push on the line, a lot of balls batted down. It didn't matter ones, twos, or threes.
Yeah, those guys look a little different up front this year. Hats off to our strength staff for doing such a great job. But it's also the personnel we brought in. Ryan Williams is 6'4", D. Townley's about 6'4", 6'5". And then the guys that have been ultra consistent for us that have been here, Caden Weiss has done a nice job. Armand Wallace has been here with us forever, done a nice job. Tim Brantley. I'm really excited about the D-line and the way they can be active.
Coach, from what I've seen, Montana, it looks like they like to run a lot of blitz, a lot of man as well. So how important for this veteran group depth of receiver is it for these guys to understand how quickly they got to create separation?
Yeah, they're an extremely well-coached team. I have a ton of respect for their head coach. He's been doing it for a long time and consistently winning. They put together a great package for their defense. They play hard on both sides of the ball and special teams. The one thing, when you watch film, we've watched their whole season multiple times. You watch the Furman game, their special teams is what won the game. They got All-American returner, and that's why we've been working continuously on our special teams, understanding kind of what we're going to see week one.
Townley's a different body than we've seen around here. There's a bunch of big people, and then there's a grown man. he looks the part.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. Again, I think we talked about it a few weeks back. When he walks in the door, you take a second look and you're like, oh, that's a giant human being, and he can play. He enjoys the game. He's active. He plays fast, and he's a pretty nasty cat.
When you look at how far he has to go, because we've seen when stuff written about him, raw player, of the prospect and everything. When you have a body like that, you automatically get 4 stars in those recruiting spaces. But he looks like it. Just trying to get him to that status to where he plays like that as well.
Yeah, that's the next step he has to take. You saw him excel in situations where he could just flat get after the quarterback with his natural rush ability. He's got to understand that on defense, you have to play first, second down too. You've got to understand the fits, understand the scheme that we're trying to run on a specific play. And I think Coach Scott will get him right in the film room on that.
How comfortable do you feel now this year as opposed to last year, just 2 weeks out from the season?
Yeah, I feel a lot better about our football team. I think we're a more mature football team in all aspects, on the field, off the field, the way we handle walkthroughs. It's just a different feel, a different vibe around the football team right now, and they mean business.
Okay, speaking of business, why do these guys seem to get the business aspect of this sport this time around?
Yeah, again, I think we've just matured in every single way in regards to what we did in the off season, kind of, again, understanding our shortcomings and understanding why did we lose the football games we lost, and then in turn, why did you win the football games you won? And again, I think it showed up today, especially in regards to a line of sign and just playing hard, tough football.